Welcome to another episode of the John McEntyre Show live. This is the first live of 2025. So I want to say happy 2025 to everyone out there. Uh, I know we're 6 days in. This is January the 6th, but I was actually still on break a little bit, hanging out with family and all of that good stuff. But I'm back, and I hope everyone had a very blessed uh, holiday season, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. We've gone into Kwanzaa, celebrating Kwanzaa, and so for those out there, we say Happy Kwanzaa. Um, but my hope is that we didn't go over budget, that we're not going to be paying this year, 2025. We're going to spend most of 2025 paying for 2024's Christmas. Hopefully, we didn't finance those Christmases. I've talked to a lot of people, in person. I received a lot of emails, a ton of wallet wins, and I'll get to those probably next few days. I'll go into more and more of the wallet wins. When I'm collecting them, people will let me know that they didn't have to finance. This was the first time they didn't have to finance a Christmas. Paying all cash. All types of stuff. Some people focused on paying off their debts, things like that. So we're doing good. So we're going into the new year. Hopefully, this time of the year, we all know we do those resolutions, and um, it's not that I don't believe in resolutions. It's just that resolutions they've become such a cliche that um, they're not they're sort of like done in passing, very like very nonchalant. Yes, I want to save more money, or I want to invest more, or I want to going into health things, like I want to lose weight, I want to do that. And that's where I don't care too much for resolutions. I do believe in resolutions. With the true meaning of resolution means you're not planning on going back. You're committed. It's just another term for committed. And so when you actually committed, you become more specific with it. And so instead of just saying, I want to save more money, you can say, I want to start saving 5% of my income every month. That's more that's that's more solid than just saying I want to save more money, because hey, at the end of the year you can say, well, you have an extra two bucks in your account from last year. Okay, well, you saved money. Where you have to be more specific, and we're not going to get into here. I've talked about it before with goal setting, that you can actually, when you become more specific on what you aim at, the more specific you are, the higher your chances of actually achieving it. And which in the other direction, aiming nothing in particular, that's what you will get, nothing in particular. And so we hope, it's our hope here that you're being very specific with your goals for 2025 financially. And as usual, that if you need help with actually doing that goal setting and achieving, setting up a plan to achieve those goals for 2025, don't hesitate to contact us. You can just visit johnmcintyre.com. Um, Contact us, get on the calendar, and we'll set up a time to talk, to actually get you on that path, get you on target to a successful 2025, because that's what we're going to talk about today. Is actually achieving a achieving financial success in 2025. That's what we're going to talk about, and I'm going to do this in, I'm only going to give one point a day, because we all know when it comes to financing, it's more than one thing to do, because most people, it's another thing, people just oversimplify. It is such a thing as oversimplifying it. To achieve financial success, you have to invest. So I'm going to invest this year. I'm really going to make a lot of money. I'm going to invest. Well, financial success, as we all know, as I talk about it here, and I will always talk about it, it's two parts to financial success. There's the offense and the defense. And so you have to put both in place. because as you're building your financial success, as you're building wealth, you need protection. You need, something that will keep you from losing what you're gaining. And so that's why it becomes much more complicated. Um, some financial experts have you to believe that, it really is. It is simple. It's simple math is what it is, but it can be complicated. And normally, when they're oversimplifying things, they just have something to sell you. That's all. That's basically all that it is. They have a system, a book, or something to sell you, to tell you, yes, we do have the services and products and everything, but it's all in a plan. Financial success is a plan. It's not just a one thing. It's not just investing. It's not just insurance. It's a plan on how to use investing to build your wealth, how to use insurance to protect your wealth building years, to protect you, to protect your money, to protect your work, your family, everything. And so that's what you have to take into an account when it comes to achieving financial success. So hopefully, I didn't mean to go on that tangent, but it was something that was brought to my attention before I came on, and so I was like, okay, I need to address that because I don't want everything to be overly simplified. Um, it's achieved wallet wins, those smaller wallet wins that achieve that long-term success. So achieving financial success in 2025, for me, started in 2024, late 2024, specifically in November. I talked about it, setting those goals and dreams. um, what do I want to achieve in 2025? Because I just don't. I want to manage my money, but it's really to achieve other things. It's other things it's the dreams that I have, my long range dreams, my midterm dreams, my short term dreams. That's why I want to be successful financially. It's more than just to have a lot of money. It's what I'm going to do with the money, what the money is going to do for my family, leaving a legacy, what it's going to do for my child, my grandchildren. Hopefully the grandchildren come into place, the foundations that I support, the nonprofits, and contributing to society. That's why. And so I've already talked about that. Sit down and before you do anything, sit down and do that dreams and goals list if you haven't done one. um, and don't judge it. If it comes up in your mind, write it down, because it probably is a deep desire of yours, and get it on paper. Write it on paper, because you don't want it to stay in your mind. It's just study after study has shown, when you write something down, you have a higher chance of achieving it. And so you want to write those dreams and goals down. And that's why I say dreams and goals. Dreams, my definition, I learned this a long time ago, is one of my first coaches taught me. And he said, dreams are really goals with wings. And he said that's why sometimes people will say, stop daydreaming, stop this, because it makes you sound flighty, and unstable, things like that. Well, you have your goals and you have your dreams, and then you set goals to achieve those dreams. The goals are the steps you're going to take to achieve the dream, and those are your benchmarks. It's letting you know. It's like, driving down a highway, for instance. We're here, I'm here in the Charlotte area. I'm going to Charlotte. I'm leaving Charlotte. I'm going to Asheville. So I'm going west. As I see certain signs, um, for instance, I see signs Shelby. That's letting me know that I'm going in the right direction. I see Forest City, my hometown. I'm going in the right direction. If I don't see those signs, if I start to see, for instance, Rockingham, I'm definitely not going to Asheville. I'm actually going in the opposite direction. So then I have to set those goals and, make sure I'm prepared, fill up the car, make sure everything's in place. And that's what the goals are, to achieve that dream. And the goal, Asheville is also a goal in itself. It's what I'm going to do in Asheville that's really the dream. It's not just to go to Asheville, it's to go to Asheville to do specific things. So that's why you want to sit down and you put your dreams and goals on paper. You've done your your values assessment. That's what keeps you motivated and keeps you focused on achieving, your financial success. That's why you want to also sit down and do that values. What's important to me? Um, do that as constantly. Make sure you do it constantly, because sometimes when people become unmotivated about certain things, it could be that you just don't value it anymore. It's things that I valued in my 20s. I don't value them now. I just don't value them as much. Is If I didn't have the values that I have now, things I probably would still be chasing those things, and I probably would look very immature, um, because what I valued in my 20s uh, would definitely not help me achieve anything at my age now. It would actually do more harm than good. It would take me in a different direction. And so that's why you want to set down that that list of dreams, goals, values, assessments. What's important to me? Who are the people that I'm going to need on my team to help me? Um, I'm going to need professionals. I'm going to need investment advisors, accountants, real estate agents, attorneys, estate planners, all of those different people, professional business coaches, media coaches, whatever you're involved in, you have to think about that team that's going to surround you to help you achieve the dream, because you definitely will not, any dream that's of any significance, you won't achieve it by yourself. If you can achieve your dream by yourself, it may be time to reassess your dreams, because number one, they're just not big enough. Number two, they probably won't motivate you as much. Um, and if you do achieve it, you'll probably be like, that's all it is. I've done that before. I've done that years ago. I set out. I didn't even tell anyone about the dream, and I achieved it. And it really wasn't even that significant. It wasn't even noticeable to a lot of people. I was happy. I was happy that I achieved it. But then it gave me another lesson that, okay, only difference it really made was for me. No one else really benefited from it. Um, and so that's when I really went on my quest for understanding how to set goals. And I really started to go inside to understand, what was important to me. What am I really dreaming about? What do I really want to accomplish? Because also the dream that I achieved, it really wasn't even mine. I saw someone else do it, and I went into that what I call me too ism. They did it, so me too. And sometimes that's not wrong. If you're using other people for inspiration, I have a lot of people that inspire me. They don't even know that they inspire me. Some of them I just don't have access to yet. I don't have access to them yet. But they are my sources of inspiration. I got that from the book, Think and Grow Rich. It's talking about the Mastermind Alliance. Part of your mastermind are people that you actually have access to, the professionals, the advisors, the coaches, mentors, people like that. Then there's another group that you don't have access to. Some of them may not even be alive. I have some of my biggest heroes aren't even alive anymore. And so, but I'm still inspired by them. I've read their biographies. I read everything about them. I've read everything. I study them. And it's almost like sometimes when I'm meditating, it's almost like I can see them in front of me, like they're sitting there. And some people say, well, that's weird. Not really, because we all think with our imaginations anyway. And so you might as well just use it positively and constructively. And so that's why, you have to ask those type of questions before I even get started. What is it that I want to achieve? Um, who's going to help me? When do I want to get there? Put a timetable on it. It doesn't have to be written in stone, but like I say, the more specific you become, the higher your chances of achieving. And so that is not to say, okay, well, I did not achieve this. I gave myself 6 months to achieve it, and here it is 6 months, and I haven't achieved it. That's not a sign to stop. Just may mean it's time to reassess things. You maybe it's something you overlooked, something you need to learn, whatever. You need to look at those things. It's not a sign to quit. You'll know when it's time to quit. And I was taught that way. I would always say, when should I quit? I've done this, I've done that. When should I, give up on this? They were like, my every mentor that's guided me was like, you'll know. That's not something I can tell you. You'll know if it's something that whatever. Maybe you'll lose motivation. Maybe you'll just look at it and say, I really don't value that anymore, or I've seen something else that's even beyond that, that's more important. And then those are the signs to let you know that it's time to maybe put something down or whatever. But until that time comes, when it comes to finances and everything, is never a time to quit. It's never too late to start, and it's never too early to quit. It's always too early to quit. You should never quit. I don't care. I know people worked with people that did not get started till they were 62, 63 years old. And most people are saying, I'm washed up. I'm just going to have to depend on the government or whatever handouts to achieve it. Some people, once we look at things and I show them and their motivation, give them a reason, a big why, it's achieved. I've yet to see it not be successful. So it's never too late, never too early to give up on those financial dreams, because your future depends on it. That's why. And so tomorrow I will talk. Today is Monday, and we're kicking off the new year. So we want to make sure we started off right, talking about the dreams and goals. Sit down, write that list. Don't judge it. I remember one of my favorite college coaches, one of my favorite football teams at one time, college football team, was Notre Dame, and it was Lou Holtz. And Lou Holtz said he had written down one day. He sat down and he wrote down 100. I think it was like 107 things to achieve. He was like the first person when people started to use the term bucket list. He said he wrote down this list, and it was things, and he called it his bucket list. And he said it wasn't even 20 years, and he had achieved over like 100 of them, 100 of them. And so I was like, okay, if it was good enough for Lou Holtz, one of the greatest college football coaches in history, definitely good enough for me. And he said, you don't judge it, just write it down. If it's something that comes to you, write it down. And it's never too crazy or whatever. It's yours. Those are the things that will motivate you. So you write those down. So that's what we are talking about today. Right, though, for 2025, what exactly do I want to achieve in 2025 financially? What are some things I want to achieve? We're going to get more technical and more practical tomorrow. But today it is about what do I want to achieve? Me personally, it was something that I was taught a couple of years ago by a minister. They said, write a letter, date it December 31st. So this year it'd be December 31st, 2025. Date it and write it like a prayer, because they were, a minister, and say, I'm grateful that I achieved, and write down everything you want to have achieved and that you are grateful for it. At first, it took me a second to really, grab hold to it. But then once I did it that first year, so now I've written my, I wrote mine in November. I wrote mine. I tweaked it just a little bit in December, but I've written it down, and it's written as a letter of gratitude for achieving these things. And it's not December 31st yet, but I've already written out what I'm grateful for what has happened this year. Could be something to try. So I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to talk more about what to do now, more practically, to get on that road to achieving financial success. And so, if you do have questions, you have wallet wins you want to share, Remember, this is live. You can interact with me. Go to the comments if you're on watching by Facebook Live, or if you're watching by YouTube. Go to the comments, put a uppercase Q. If I see it, I will answer the question. Or if it's a wallet win, hashtag wallet wins. We want to celebrate. We celebrated hundreds last year. I want to celebrate thousands this year of wallet wins. Because people I was talking to someone yesterday, and he was like, those wallet wins really have helped me because I didn't think I was making much progress. But then when I started to write down, he was like, man, I wrote down like 30 wallet wins for the year. I was like, oh yeah, that's two or three a month almost. That's adding up. He was like, oh yeah, he said, I'm in a much better place financially. And we set an appointment. We're going to talk. He said, now I really need to sit down. He said, because I can see that these things are working. I would just imagine if I talk to someone to help me with this. So we're going to talk. So tomorrow, tune in, and I will make sure, and we're going to cover the first step to take as you make this year of financial success. So until tomorrow, this is John McEntyre signing off. We'll talk.